So the Battlefront 2 community is by far one of the most patient gaming communities I've ever seen. And yes, sure, there's been a lot of criticisms lately about Battlefront 2, but yeah, you guys have been extremely patient. And we're going to be talking about some of those criticisms because DICE recently responded to a bunch of these new concerns. You know, for example, there was some posts about some of the DLC content supposedly being put on hold because of the Clone Wars content. That DICE is really wanting to focus on Clone Wars content. So Ben Walk replies about that. Plus, concerns about new Clone Wars heroes costing too much in credits. And the community demands a new AMA. Ben Walk responds about that. And is DICE planning on doing a bait and switch and put loot crates back into the game and the old monetization system? Well, Ben Walk also gives additional comments about that as well. So yeah, we're going to dive straight into this right now. Welcome back to the Star Wars HQ. Robbie here, and let's dive straight into this right now. So, first of all, there was a really interesting post here from Danon Fire for God 22, who basically was stating his concern about DICE focusing too much on the Clone Wars DLC content, and that taking away from, you know, other simple updates like updates to arcade mode, you know, and other updates that he feels is really important and that the community also feels that is really important as well. I'm just happy, guys, that we're getting Clone Wars content. Wish it was here way sooner than it's coming, but this is what Ben Walk had to say about all of this. He says, I'm at an airport about to board a plane, so comments are short. I've talked about this multiple times before. While I appreciate the concern from the original poster, there's a lot of differences between making projects as a one-man team and a multi-format game release such as Battlefront 2. I've commented on a community test environment before, and it's the same as with other things. It needs a dedicated team to staff it. It's not as simple as throwing a server online and saying, come test. There's infrastructure, release management, deployment, and more. We're also a licensed product, which makes things slightly different from other games that you see doing this. Bugs, agree we must do better, no excuses. This has been communicated considerably over the last few weeks, end quote. And that last statement is so true. The bugs, they've got to get rid of the bugs with the patches. When a patch releases, you know, we can't expect for the game to break every single time. The patch needs to actually improve the game even further. But anyway, back to some of these comments here. It's interesting to see that he mentions a community test environment. That would be something cool to see and would iron out a lot of the bugs in the future. But, you know, yes, the Clone Wars content is a focus for DICE and EA because that's what we've been begging for and dying for. And again, I go back to the fact that it seems like a lot of the DICE guys that are working on Battlefront 2 have potentially been pulled off of that and onto Battlefield 5 in the meantime. So I do think that is something that is happening. So again, that goes back to the fact that we're all being extremely patient. But I wanted to give you guys some updates about this stuff right here that Ben Walker's replying about. So also, there was another post here that says, it's been 8 months, roadmap is out, bugs are everywhere, future is uncertain, it's time for an AMA. Ben Walk goes on to say this, I do think there are opportunities where we can have Q&A sessions on specific topics. For example, have one dedicated to game modes, another to heroes, etc. Once we get the live streams off the ground, that will also be another source of information. Frequency of community transmissions needs to increase as well, aiming for 2 a month, one to talk about updates and the other to talk about a specific topic, end quote. So that seems like it's going to be in the future for Battlefront 2. I would imagine a lot of this stuff may be happening, my guess, around August, because that is when we will be getting some sort of patch and content drop in August as well. Then, yeah, actually we have an update about that. Then, I think it's KOG something says, any word on the map update? I can't remember if you said July or August. And Forge says August. So we will be getting a new version of the roadmap in August. Mark that down on your calendars. Now also, Modern Inferno says this, I trust you, but if you have time to handle another IP, you could just do a better job at Star Wars. The game is not in a good place, man, and it's clear that EA DICE is gonna put monetization back in and bleed it till no one cares anymore. Having more than one IP says a lot. And Ben Walk is basically in charge of Need for Speed and Star Wars Battlefront 2. So he's doing a lot, and he's actually traveling to Criterion Games as well. But Ben Walk says this: put monetization back in. We have no plans to change anything that is currently in the game in this regard. As a community lead, I work across multiple projects. All are in different stages, so it isn't a matter about time, end quote. So it sounds like they're not going to be changing anything. You know, they rehauled the progression system. A lot of us like the current state that the progression system is in. We don't like the bugs. You know, the bugs are, in my personal opinion, the biggest problem with the game. And they're causing balancing issues and stuff like that. They've got to get rid of these bug issues. So, additional comments from Modern Inferno. He goes on to say, on the monetization front, all gold rewards have been almost halved, and it's going to take literally 100 hours to grind out Obi-Wan or Grievous at the current reward rates. I'm sorry, man, but I'm honestly worried about a game I love to play. It's a legit concern. You know, when the Clone Wars heroes do come out, they can't cost too much money, credits, in-game credits. They won't be purchasable, of course, with real money, but Ben Walk replied saying this: you earn credits faster than ever now, can easily make a few thousand credits an hour. Our data shows this also, end quote. So he's reassuring that the heroes will be obtainable in a reasonable sense. So that's good news. They can't be, you know, out of reach for many players because that would be a huge issue, of course. For many of us, I think we would probably all just leave the game if we could not obtain Obi-Wan, Anakin, you know, Grievous, and Dooku. That would be a massive problem. We really don't know the exact credit cost for these upcoming heroes and villains either, so we can't have much of a say on how long it would take us to unlock them. So that's important to know. We'll have to wait and see what they do with the credit cost for heroes and villains. But yes, it is a concern. I do get where you're coming from, Modern Inferno. So it seems like DICE is also very aware of this problem, considering what happened at launch, considering how much the heroes cost in credits. So I don't think they want to make a repeat mistake. You know, they're already on thin ice, in my personal opinion, with Disney and Lucasfilm in some regards about how they handled the launch. So I don't think they want to screw it up again. But also, you know, Ben Walk did warn that when you are at your in-match screen and the credits are, you know, counting up, he did say this: the credit reward screen is a visual bug as stated in the latest patch notes. You're still earning plenty of credits, it's just displaying incorrectly. And he did go on to state that when you are in the main menu, the front end menu, you're seeing your correct credit amount. So just remember that there is a little bit of a bug. Again, these bugs are a massive problem, and they confuse the community. They cause balance issues, so they've got to get rid of this bug problem. I don't know if they need to hire new Q&A team or what, or add to the Q&A team. I think that needs to be done. A community test environment sure would be cool, but it doesn't seem like it's reasonable considering, you know, that a lot of the team is working on Battlefield 5 at this time. My personal opinion about all of this is I'm hoping that they do see some players going in there and actually using real money and purchase, you know, some of these cosmetic items as an optional thing, and that helps encourage EA to really put more investment into Battlefront 2 and the Battlefront franchise. That's something that I'm hoping that does happen, and that they perhaps keep the base game at a lower price. I think that might be one of their end goals, is to keep the base game at a very low price, get a lot of people in there, you know, and then have, you know, some monetization on the cosmetics alone. No gameplay enhancements. So as long as they don't push it too far with the amount it costs for us to obtain, you know, skins, heroes, and the like in terms of in-game credits, then I will be okay with this, as long as the grind isn't too severe. You know what I mean? But guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned here to Star Wars HQ for more updates about Battlefront 2. And yes, this community has been extraordinarily patient with this game. We're getting some really cool content here in fall, where we are approaching August, so there is that update. Looking forward to providing more info about that as that time draws near. A new roadmap is coming, guys. But thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more, and may the force be with you always.